I just do not feel like editing a video. So I'm live. Just got back from camping, more specifically tabernacles. And I come home and the entire sports world has been shaken up. Not because of Robert Sarver, who was suspended for allegedly racist behavior, misogynist, and all that other stuff that we've known a lot of these people to be. Not because Brett Favre robbed the poorest state of Mississippi, but because Ime Ndoku decided to step out of his marriage. I don't know if he and Neil longer married, but anyway, he was messing around with an employee of the Boston Celtics. And first and foremost, I want to say I don't condone that type of behavior because of my belief in the Most High, because of my belief in the Bible and what the Word says. So I don't condone that. And Ime absolutely deserved. He should have been suspended because you just can't do that. You shouldn't do that, especially as a leader of men. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be stepping out of your relationship. Shouldn't be sleeping with employees, especially someone of his stature and the organization. Oh, they've been engaged since 2010. Sheesh, that's a long engagement, over a decade. But you shouldn't do that. He deserved what he got. If he was fired, so be it, because he has to know better. He's the guy in the locker room that preaches responsibility, preaches togetherness. I'm sure he's gave plenty of speeches that would preach against what he himself committed. Ime should absolutely have been suspended for what he did. And most likely he's going to get fired. He's going to get fired. Again, I'm here live because I don't feel like editing a video. I'm tired. I'm not done unpacking. I have a lot to reconnect, a lot of stuff to do, so I'm here. But he absolutely should have been suspended. Like I said, he'll most likely get fired. The guy they have in there now as the interim coach is most likely there for the first season. But I got a real, even bigger problem with how this whole thing is being handled. Again, Brett Favre, a thief. He didn't rob the rich, even though robbery is a sin in general. He stole from the poor. He stole from the poor. Robert Sarver, we know what a lot of these owners are about. I'm pretty sure this guy was friends with Donald Sterling. And Donald Sterling himself once said, I'm not the only one. We knew that to be true. And you got Malika Andrews of ESPN. Malika Andrews was recently, I don't know how long ago, honestly. I'm so untapped with the world right now because I was out having a good time with the family. But Malika Andrews was on First Take, I think, the other day. And of course, Stephen A was talking about the situation, and Malika Andrews came in. She wasn't there in person, I don't believe. I don't think, yeah, she wasn't there in person. But she came in giving her 2 cents on the situation. And she basically, Stephen A was talking about how the Celtics handled the situation, and how, like, why is it that we know Ime Doku? Why is it that this is a story? Because usually when stuff like this happens, it's not made public. It's covered up. And then they go and have a press conference days before media day. And the way I see it, two of their own, Brett Favre and Robert Sarver, was being taken to task by the public, and they just couldn't have that. They couldn't have that. So they made an issue that was bad, but should have been privately in-house. Should have been handled in-house, and it should have been between Ime and the Celtics, and Ime and Neil Long and his, the rest of his family. I believe they have children as well. It should have been handled like that. But like I said, Malika Andrews come and she's giving this fake, woke, angry reaction when Stephen A was talking about how it was being handled and how we don't know the name of the woman, but we know Ime. And Malika comes in on First Take and try to completely make this to be about something that it had absolutely nothing to do with. Again, she's battling herself. No one is saying that Ime should be exempt for what happened. No one is saying this man is being unfairly targeted. I think that the story is bigger than what it should be, because the real story is this racist owner, allegedly. The other story is this thief, Brett Favre, not allegedly. But she comes in and she tries to, excuse me, sunflower seed. She tries to sun Stephen A. Smith. And I'm not a Stephen A. Smith fan at all. I was going to say I'm not a big Stephen A. Smith fan, but I'm not a Stephen A. fan at all. I used to be back in the past, before I was truly awakened to how the media is. But she tries to sun him by telling him to stop it, stop making this, stop blaming women, which is what he 100% did not do. He did not. She tried to make it, and if you just hear what she said without knowing the whole story of anything that's been happening, you would think that this woman that Ime Doku had a consensual sexual relationship with, you would think that this woman was sexually assaulted. You would think that she was sexually assaulted or something, after what Malika Andrews said. No one blamed the woman. But why don't we know who she is? Isn't she an employee? If it was consensual, why don't we know her? You're talking about people on social media dragging this woman. Why aren't you pointing the finger at the Boston Celtics for creating this speculation? We absolutely should know who this woman is. What's her position? This boy cried for a baseball. What's her position in the organization? What type of power does she wield? We should absolutely know her. But instead, Malika Andrews, who's a Jewish and black, and you know that if this were a situation where a black person was shot by the police or something, that's when she would try to be more in touch with her black side. But why isn't she as upset about the Brett Favre situation or Robert Sarver than she is about this whole Ime Doku thing, a situation that we honestly shouldn't know anything about? Things like this happens all the time. It's not cool, it's not good at all, but this is the norm. Not the norm that should be accepted, but it's absolutely the norm. It happens all the time. But like I said, two of their own are being taken down by the public, and they can't have that. So they put this story up as if it's something, as if what he did was terrible, but it's terrible. It should be handled between he and his family. We shouldn't even know this, but we should know about Brett Favre and his band of thieves. We should know about Robert Sarver and his alleged racist ways, misogynist. Why isn't Malika Andrews tearing him down? Maybe she spoke on it. Again, I don't watch ESPN, so maybe she spoke on it, but if I were a betting man, and it's funny, DraftKings commercial was on, I guarantee you that she didn't have the same energy about Robert Sarver as she does with Brad Favre, as she does with Ime Udoka. I guarantee you she didn't if she spoke on Robert Sarver, which I'm assuming she did because NBA is her job. But she I don't think she had that same energy. They come they're coming at this situation all wrong. No one is blaming the Celtics for what they did. You got Brad Stevens in the press conference, a loser. The only person that could be such a failure and get kicked upstairs. This guy got promoted for being a failure. Ime came in one season and did what he couldn't do, take the team to the finals. It was that simple. Bench Gordon Hayward, even though Gordon wasn't on the team. And Ime came in and did that, took him to the finals. Something that loser couldn't do with his fake, almost crocodile tears. You worried about what people on social media are saying. It's millions of people on social media, billions of people in the world, billions different type of personalities. You know you can't control what people on social media say. But Malika Andrews completely commanded Brad Stevens for being upset. Coming in and trying to sun Stephen A. Smith as if this woman is some type of victim. I knew she works in the same organization as Ime Udoka. I don't. I knew Ime Udoka was with Nia Long and they have children. I knew. So I'm assuming she knew. And what does that say about her? For messing with an engaged, married, basically married man, because they have kids. And that's basically a marriage right there. What does that say about her? She's just as disgusting, despicable, and she's a crappy person for what she did. She's not a victim. Unless you're telling me that this woman was sexually assaulted, the R word, then don't come at us with this stop blaming women thing. Ain't nobody blaming her. Ime Udoka bears the most of this responsibility because of the position he in. He should have never been messing with that woman. Or no woman outside of his woman. But but Malika Andrews, it's a good thing that she did what she did, and she also did the same thing to Kendrick Perkins. It's a good thing she did what she did because it just further highlights the hypocrisy. And I love going on YouTube seeing everybody exposing this for what it is because everybody sees it. What's ESPN's agenda with allowing this type of stuff to happen? Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith. Kendrick was on Malika Andrews' NBA. I don't know what the NBA show is on ESPN, but Kendrick Perkins was on that show, and he had a different opinion as to what happened. He basically agreed with Stephen A. He was disappointed in Brad Stevens and the Celtics. And mind you, Kendrick Perkins played in the league, played for the Celtics, close to that organization, knows things. He was even on the same side. And when he had a different opinion from Malika Andrews, she decided to be offended by that. She called out Stephen A. basically in the middle of it, saying that what she say? I don't remember the quote exactly, but about people who are, what did she say? People who are asking for the name of the woman. She said something about people in our own industry or something like that. Of course, we know she was referencing Stephen A. Smith. But when she saw that Perk had a different opinion, she decided to shut him down and basically kick him off the show. He was there via satellite, but she 100% kicked him off the show. His time was not up. She did not want to give him a chance to respond. She's responding strictly off emotions and she's battling against herself. No one is saying that Ime is exempt for what he did. But this woman who knew that Ime was married or engaged and had children, she is just as responsible, and we should absolutely know who she is. The Celtics themselves said that no one else will be punished. Is this woman an employee or not? Was she a volunteer? Was she a volunteer? Why isn't she being held under the same rules or work conduct as Ime? This is where that fake woke garbage gets you. They always screaming, "Oh, say her name, say his name." We'll put her name out there so we can know who she is. What's her position? This is where that fake woke garbage gets y'all. Y'all need to quit falling for this stuff, man. Y'all need to really quit falling for this. And make you look stupid like Malika Andrews look. She looks 100% stupid. She has lost so much popularity and favor compared to around a year ago, when the whole was it a year ago? I think it was a year ago. Yeah, a year ago, over a little bit over a year ago, when the whole thing happened with Maria Taylor. We had the Rachel Nichols audio of her talking about Maria Taylor. And after that, ESPN decided to take Rachel Nichols off the NBA Finals and give it the spot to Malika Andrews, who was just the hottest thing at that point after that whole thing. And this is where she is now. And don't get me started with that fake emotional Roe versus Wade read she did a couple months ago when that thing was overturned. The energy they put in these things. The energy they put in these things. They have these big old platforms, and yet no one is talking about Brett Favre. No one is talking about him. This man should be in prison for what he did. He should absolutely be in prison. They're talking about this scandal as if it's a crime. It's a crime between I mean, it is technically. Not in that way though. Because he got to answer to God for that. But in terms of the standards of what Brett Favre did, it's sad, man. It's sad. This is why I'm glad I'm in the position that I'm in now in life. Because this is where that fake woke culture gets you. This is where it gets you. You guys are too. You guys need to stop spreading this toxic masculine behavior. I'm a man. I don't know how not to be one. You can put your own little spin on these things all you want. But the fact of the matter is, I'm a man. And equality don't just go one way. You can't kick someone off your show and get upset because they don't share the same views as you. It what makes for a sorry, weak, sad, pathetic, trash show. Why would you want to bring on a guest who shares the same, I mean, of course, sometimes, but shares the exact same views as you all the time? Kendrick had a different take, the same view as a lot of other people. Why don't we know who this woman is? This woman is no victim. She's horrible. She's a horrible person as well. Because she knows Ime is in a relationship. Let me find out this woman was white or is white. Because the Celtics, boy, they really had a press conference not the day before, but days before media day, when these questions were asked today to the Celtic players, they decided to have a press conference days before media day because they just cannot let all this heat come on Robert Sarver and Brett Favre. That's why I don't watch that channel, man. When you see me watching something like ESPN or anything like that, I'm only watching pregame. I'm not watching pregame, not watching halftime, and I'm not watching postgame. I'm only watching the game, and I'm done. That's all I need. I refuse to be indoctrinated with that garbage and that nonsense, bro. These people are fools. And we need to wake up and stop falling for this stuff. And I see that a lot of people are indeed waking up. Because a lot of people aren't falling for it anymore. Like I said, I love seeing all these channels tweet about this stuff. Make videos about this stuff, this fake nonsense. A different opinion. A woman that was not, unless you're telling me something bad happened to her that she didn't want, that she didn't ask for, then why are we trying to protect this woman like she's some sort of victim? MVP, Lamar Jackson. Why are we protecting this woman? Why are these people allowed to do this? Why is ESPN allowing this? What is the agenda here? What is the goal? What is the goal after all of this? What are we about to accomplish? You got this infighting that people clearly know about. Sure, there's always infighting, but we can clearly see that there's a problem with Malika Andrews and Kendrick Perkins. Clearly see a problem with Malika Andrews and Stephen A. Smith. That's an image you never want for your company. So what's the end goal for this? Why is she allowed to go on and say and try to sun this dude? Why are these women allowed to just disrespect these men like they're garbage with no consequences? Let's put the shoe on the other foot. And Stephen A. Smith comes at Malika Andrews like that. That man they would be calling for his job. He would have to issue an apology. And then he'd be suspended. Just like it was in 2013. But yeah, he's allowed to be disrespected. She's allowed to kick Kendrick Perkins off the show because he had a different opinion than her. Fake woke. Pretending to make a difference does not make a difference. Because there will come a time where you have to show what side you stand on, where you have to be about that action. So stop pretending. This fake woke nonsense. You gotta stop. People really fall for this stuff. They really, really fall for this stuff. What else happened today? I'm done with that subject. Oh yeah, I won in fantasy football. 3-0. Still not watching the Panthers until they start winning. I know they won, but they're not winning. What else happened? Oh, the Cowboys just beat the Giants. I had the Giants winning that game 16-10. I saw that stat also that the Cowboys are like 10-1 against them in the last 11 games. And I think the last time, yeah, I remember in what was it, 2016, the Giants beat the Cowboys twice in Dak's rookie year. Two of the three Cowboy losses came to the Giants. But yeah, Dallas have owned them over the past 5, 6 years or whatever. They've completely owned the Giants. Cooper Rush did his thing with CD. Week 3, the Jacksonville. I know Herbert is hurt, but man, they stomped out the Chargers. That was a surprise. I think the biggest surprise may be the Raiders being 0-3. That may be the biggest surprise. They lost to the Chargers, lost to the Titans, and who did they lose to this week? Or was that they lost to the Titans this week, right? Who did they lose to? The Cardinals. That's right, the Cardinals. Lost to the Cardinals. So I'm reminding you because the expectations for y'all are up there. But they are 0-3, and they have the Broncos next, followed by the Chiefs, and then I think they have the Texans after that. But Broncos and Chiefs, two divisional games. I don't think they're going to lose both those games. I think they beat Denver, but of course there's a chance they lose. And if they're 0-4, I don't think they're dead yet, but 0-3 is a bit of a tough hole to climb out of. But luckily for them, everyone except Denver should have lost. Everyone else in the West lost as well, so they're not completely out of it. But they lose Sunday. Sheesh. Good luck. With all those expectations, no excuses for the Raiders. For that prediction video I did, there's a part I did. I don't think I added it in the video, but I said that I did 3 teams that have expectations that will disappoint, that could possibly disappoint, and 3 teams that have no expectations really that will surprise you. The 3 teams with no expectations that are surprising people, and on that level, I see it as winning 9 games, which would be a winning record. I see it as making the playoffs and making it to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. And the reason I thought of this was because last year I had the Bengals winning just like 4 games, and they ended up going to the Super Bowl. But the 3 teams that I thought that a lot of people don't really have expectations for, that I think one of these teams, at least one, will surprise you. I had Giants, I had Jags, and I had who was that third team? Giants, Jags, and Lions. One of those teams, if not all, will surprise us. So far, it's looking like Jacksonville. The Giants are still 2-1. Have a really good defense, but offensively they are challenged. Outside of Saquon, they can't do anything really. I did a really, 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 really smart thing in fantasy football because Keenan Allen was out and I had him in my starting lineup, but luckily he played the 1 o'clock game, the late game or late afternoon game, and I decided to take him out because he was out, and I put in the receiver from Jacksonville. I always had Christian Kirk from Jacksonville, but I decided to put in, I think it wasn't Zay Jones. I'm trying to look right now. I think it was Zay Jones. Yeah, I put in Zay. I decided to pick up Zay and free agency actually. And Zay Jones had 10 receptions for 85 yards and a touchdown. And I kept Christian Kirk in the lineup, who had 6 receptions, 72 yards and a touchdown. And I won the week off that. But my first thought was to go with Sterling Shepard from the New York Giants. And I'm glad I decided to take a chance on Zay Jones instead of Sterling Shepard, because they just played today. And I didn't even see what Sterling Shepard did. But I really needed a receiver. and I picked up Zay Jones, and Sterling Shepard ended up with 5 catches, 49 yards, no touchdowns. So I made a really smart decision there. So if you're in the league where Zay Jones is a free agent, you should probably consider picking him up, sneaking him in your lineup, sneaking him on your roster. But yeah, those are the three teams who I thought would surprise some people. I think Jacksonville might be that team. I had these seeds in my mouth for a while. And there were three teams who had expectations, but one or all would probably disappoint that I had. And those three teams, Eagles, who are looking good right now at 3-0. I got Jalen Hurts on my fantasy football roster. The other team are the Broncos, who are 2-1, but they're not looking good at all, especially Russ. And the last team was the Raiders. Those were the three teams who I said one of these teams, if not all, will disappoint, who have expectations. And so far, the Raiders are the front runners to take that spot because they are, I don't know, play calling from what I'm hearing from Raider fans. I know some Raider fans, and when I talk to them, I'm hearing play calling, defense. The defense has done their thing for the Raiders. I think, let me go back and look real quick. Defense really stepped up. Has really stepped up for the Raiders for the most part. And did allow 27. It shut the Titans out in the second half. Shut Tennessee out in the second half. And last week against the Cardinals, I was out camping for both these games. But last week against the Cardinals, they held Arizona to 0 points in the first half. So the defense has pitched 2 first half shutouts for the Raiders. Not 2 first half, but 2 shutouts and a half in general. And against the Chargers, they held the Chargers to just 7 points in the second half. So they have been good on defense, but for some reason, all of a sudden, the play calling is not working. And I think I've never really liked Josh McDaniels. I thought he was always a privileged person for a guy who turned down the job in Indy, and to still have an opportunity to be a head coach while Eric Bieniemy can't even get a job. I always thought Josh McDaniels was Josh Mc, product of Tom Brady or something like that. That's what he is. Product of Tom Brady. I don't necessarily root for the Raiders to fail. I'll troll them when they do lose, but if they fail this year, I'd be happy because I'm not a Josh McDaniels fan. Don't like him at all. Think he's overrated. I think he's just a one-trick pony, and that pony is Tom Brady. I don't know how the Bills lost that game. Look at that coach. The offensive coordinator was going crazy upstairs in the booth when the Bills failed to convert that touchdown. But yeah, that's week 3. That's the Ime Doku situation. Bigger story than Robert Sarver, in my opinion. It shouldn't be a bigger story, but I think that right now they're making it to be out to be a bigger story than the Robert Sarver situation. It was media day today in the NBA, but I think that's all the time I need here. That's week 3. That's today. Like I said, I didn't feel like editing the video. I have so much to still do. I'm just still spiritually. I mean, I would rather still be out there camping with the family, tabernacles with the bodies. It was just too much fun. Learned so much. Waking up early in the morning, doing Bible study, reading scriptures was just the highlight. It was so much we did, but reading early in the morning was the highlight. Thinking that as soon as we're done with this study, I'm just go back to bed. But I decided, nope, I'm up now. Let's just do it. Every morning, 6 o'clock, reading. Waking up, reading. It was fun. But I appreciate y'all for hearing me out. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Um, Tell me what you guys think about the situation, man. I hit y'all up later. Still not about to go to bed yet. Still about to see if I can get a little bit more done before I do that. But I will talk to y'all soon. In the meantime, stay blessed, stay true, be you, less stress, more love. Peace.